5 open-source GitHub repositories, each solving a completely different developer problem. We'll cover identity, Kubernetes security, React components, Mac software discovery, and system design. We'll go through all 5 in order, starting with authentik. First is authentik, with 24,805 stars in the supplied data. This is the actual authentik repository, described as the authentication glue you need. Authentik is an open-source identity provider built for modern single sign-on. Its README lists SAML, OAuth2, and OIDC, LDAP, Radius, and more. For smaller test setups, the README recommends Docker Compose, while larger setups can use Kubernetes with Helm. Scrolling further shows more of the authentik project information and deployment guidance. The README names Docker Compose, Kubernetes, AWS CloudFormation, and the DigitalOcean Marketplace. Authentik says it is designed for self-hosting from small labs to large production clusters. The open-source project handles identity, while its enterprise offering targets large-scale identity management. The enterprise section specifically names Okta, Auth0, Entra ID, and Ping Identity. Near the bottom, the README points to development, contribution, security, and adoption information. The project provides developer documentation, contribution guidance, security information, and adoption resources. Its own description sums it up as the authentication glue you need. The key takeaway is the combination of multiple identity protocols and several documented deployment paths. Second is Kubescape, with 11,618 stars in the supplied data. Kubescape is an open-source Kubernetes security platform spanning development through runtime. Kubescape is designed for IDEs, CI and CD pipelines, clusters, and runtime environments. Its features include misconfiguration scanning, vulnerability scanning, auto-remediation, and runtime security. Further down, the README details Kubescape's security capabilities. Kubescape can scan clusters, YAML files, Helm charts, and container images. Its misconfiguration scanning references NSA CSA, MITRE ATT&CK, and CIS benchmarks. For container images, the README says Kubescape detects CVEs using gripe. The project includes auto-remediation for Kubernetes manifests and image patching using copacetic. For runtime security, the README lists eBPF-based monitoring through Inspector Gadget. Kubescape also includes an MCP server for AI assistant integration. Near the bottom, the repository continues into CLI commands, usage examples, operators, and integrations. Results can include control plane status, access risks, workload issues, network policy gaps, and compliance scores. Kubescape describes its goal as comprehensive Kubernetes security from development to runtime. Third is Material UI with 98,769 stars. Material UI is a comprehensive React component library implementing Google's Material design. The project provides React components through its independent implementation of Google's Material design system. Its repository description also makes the promise free forever. The README says Material UI has been battle-tested through more than a decade of development. The README credits thousands of open-source contributors. Scrolling down brings you into documentation and upgrade information for older releases. The README lists upgrade paths from version 5, 4, 3, and the older 0 series. Material UI's core functionality is extended by MUI-X for more advanced use cases. For getting started, the repository directs users to the Material UI documentation. Near the bottom, the project points to examples, templates, contributing information, the changelog, and roadmap. The README links to examples, premium templates, contribution guidance, a changelog, and roadmap. The README defines Diamond sponsors as those pledging $1,500 per month or more. At its core, Material UI describes itself as a comprehensive library of React components. Fourth is Awesome Mac, with 111,047 stars. Awesome Mac collects high-quality macOS software and organizes it by category. This repository is a categorized software collection designed for easier search and use. Categories include text editors, office tools, markdown software, note-taking, writing, journaling, and ebooks. Scrolling down shows more of the repository's Mac software collection and related resources. Unlike a single product repository, Awesome Mac is a categorized collection of many applications. The source lists reading and writing tools, markdown tools, note-taking, journaling, and writing sections. One sponsor description in the README says getapps.cafe offers more than 60 native Mac apps. That description says the apps span utilities, office, creative, and productivity categories. The sponsor text says those native Mac apps run locally, so data stays on the machine. Near the bottom, the repository continues its large collection of macOS software and resources. Its category structure supports a simple process. Pick a category, browse tools, and open the resource you need. The repository's stated mission is collecting high-quality macOS software. The value is structured discovery across many categories instead of one single application. Fifth is the System Design Primer, with 363,803 stars. The System Design Primer teaches large-scale system design and helps developers prepare for interviews. The repository focuses on learning scalable systems and preparing for system design interviews. The repository supports studying concepts, practicing questions, comparing solutions, and reviewing discussions, code, and diagrams. Further down, the repository expands into study guides, interview questions, solutions, and flashcards. The README includes a study guide, interview approach, solved questions, object-oriented design, and more practice. The source lists Anki decks for system design exercises, object-oriented design, and coding. The README says the flashcards use spaced repetition to help retain key system design concepts. One concrete example calculates total availability by multiplying the availability of two components. For the parallel case, the repository gives a formula based on the chance that both components are unavailable. Near the bottom, the repository opens into a large index of system design topics and trade-offs. The index includes latency and throughput, cap theorem, replication, load balancing, caching, and more. It also covers databases, content delivery networks, load balancers, microservices, and security. The README summarizes one central system design lesson in 4 words: everything is a trade-off. The strength of the primer is combining concepts, exercises, sample solutions, and review material in one collection. Together, these repositories cover identity, Kubernetes security, React interfaces, Mac software discovery, and system design learning. Subscribe to Resource AI Hub for more useful open-source resources, tools, and developer discoveries.